Hi there. Welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. Today, I would like to read another piece by Jason Gray, and it was a writing similar to this that helped to inspire me to finally quit drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana. So, I'll say a little bit more about all that after I read Jason's writing, and this one is titled The War Against Clarity: Who Wages It and Why? In a world drowning in noise, addiction, distortion, confusion, the greatest act of rebellion is to be clean and clear. To be clean in body, clear in mind, aligned in spirit. This is not mere physical sobriety. It is not just the absence of toxins or intoxicants. It is a state of being, a return to the original sacredness of self, where nothing clouds the inner vision, nothing pollutes the sacred vessel, and nothing interrupts the pure dialogue between the soul and the divine. It is the embodiment of Hermetic law. Who wages the war against clarity? The war is waged by the great engines of control, governments, corporate conglomerates, pharmaceutical giants, financial institutions, media empires, and ideological cults. They are not competitors. They are coordinated. Their goal is simple: to prevent you from seeing clearly. You would recognize how false choices they offer you really are. You would see the hidden hands behind the scenes of politics, culture, economy, and science. You would remember that you are more powerful than any external system. You would walk away and take your mind, your energy, and your sovereignty with you. Clarity is dangerous to them because it reveals the game. And once the game is seen, it loses its grip forever. They must keep you clouded, confused, and compromised. How they attack clarity. The assault is multi-pronged, relentless, and sophisticated. Chemical warfare. They flood society with substances that dull the mind, weaken the will, and destabilize emotional equilibrium. Processed foods laden with neurotoxins, prescription drugs that numb symptoms but kill spirit, addictive recreational substances masked as natural or harmless, polluted air, water, and soil. Each layer introduces more fog, more imbalance, more static into the body's sacred systems. Psychological warfare. The media industrial complex floods the mind with conflicting narratives, constant fear, outrage cycles, and an endless assault of trivialities. The mind is trained to bounce from headline to headline, never resting, never integrating, never discerning. If you are constantly reacting, you are never reflecting. Spiritual warfare. The culture wages war on meaning itself. Objective truth is declared oppressive. Discipline is painted as toxic. Purity is mocked as naivety. Higher aspirations are dragged into the mud of relativism. You are taught to believe that you are nothing but a meaningless collection of cells, here by accident, without purpose or destiny. Your spirit withers, and in its place the void is filled with nihilism, hedonism, and submission. Linguistic warfare. Words themselves are twisted. Freedom becomes selfishness. Health becomes compliance. Truth becomes whatever the powerful decree it to be. By corrupting language, they corrupt thought. By corrupting thought, they preempt rebellion at the root. Why they fear your clarity. A clear mind is a revolutionary mind. A clear mind sees the invisible chains. A clear mind questions false gods. A clear mind withdraws consent. A clear mind builds new worlds. They cannot enslave someone who knows who they are. You cannot dominate someone who sees through false authority. You cannot rule over someone who governs themselves under natural law. Your clarity is their greatest threat. Their war is relentless. The ultimate stakes. This is not about politics. It is not about economics. It is not about left versus right, rich versus poor, science versus superstition. It is about your mind. It is about your soul. It is about whether you will remain a sovereign creator or be reduced to a domesticated resource. The future of humanity depends not on who wins the next election, not on what technology emerges, but on whether enough souls can clear themselves, purify themselves, free themselves from the engineered fog. If they can keep you confused, they own your life. If you become clear, you own it again. How to win the war within. The battlefield is not external, it is internal. Purify the vessel. Cleanse the body. Stop feeding it toxins disguised as pleasures. Honor the temple of flesh that houses your spirit. Sharpen the mind. Turn off the noise. Be ruthless about what enters your consciousness. Cultivate focused thought, critical analysis, and deep stillness. Fortify the spirit. Remember why you are here. You are not an accident. You are a living expression of the infinite, called to creation, not consumption. Claim sovereignty over attention. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Guard it like a sacred flame. What you gaze upon, you become. Speak and live truth. In a world drowning in lies, every act of truth, spoken, lived, embodied, is a sword strike against the machine. If humanity chose clarity instead of confusion, imagine for a moment a different world. A world where clarity is not the exception, but the foundation. A world where human beings are clean in body, sharp in mind, aligned in spirit. What would it look like? Governments would collapse, because only fog sustains them. Sovereign souls require no masters. Corporations would crumble, because clear souls would no longer consume blindly. Propaganda would wither, because clarity burns through lies faster than any revolution. Communities would thrive, because clear minds create relationships based on truth, not transaction. The arts would explode with depth. The sciences would realign with natural law, and education would become a sacred transmission of wisdom, not a factory of obedience. Disease would plummet, because bodies attuned to clarity reject imbalance naturally. War itself would die, because clarity reveals that all war is a game for the profit of the few and the blood of the many. The soul of humanity would reawaken, not through force, not through politics, but through a million sovereign beings standing clean and clear, refusing to be deceived ever again. Reality would bend toward truth once again, and the world, long lost to confusion, would become luminous with new light. You are the beginning. The great deception wants you to believe you are powerless. Here's the deeper truth. Clarity is contagious. Freedom is viral. Awakening is exponential. One clear mind sends out ripples across the fabric of the collective. One clean soul shifts the resonance of an entire community. One sovereign life becomes the lighthouse for 1,000 others still lost in the fog. You are not small. You are the match that could light the fire that ends the darkness. Choose clarity. Choose sovereignty. Choose sacred warriorship over passive survival. The world you dream of begins with the war you win inside yourself. Thank you, Jason, for another awesome writing. He wrote that one a few months ago, or at least he posted it a few months ago. And it's so true how we need to not focus on tearing down the old world, but move beyond it and create the world that we really desire. And that's what I'm trying to do by being sober. And it's funny because when I first started this journey of sobriety, and Jason actually told me that I should go to AA, and there's like a stigma about that, and so I was a little bit like, gosh, I don't know that I need to go to AA. I'm not like a raging alcoholic. Sarah, no. And so I went, and I'm so thankful I have, because now that I am a part of that community, even though, I'm very fresh to it, I've seen that there's something magic going on in those rooms where the AA meetings are held with the people, something very special. And there's a clarity in people's eyes and a true kindness and calmness that I don't witness elsewhere in society. It's such an altruistic group of people that really care, and it's incredible, and it's not at all what I thought it would be. And I'm only at the beginning of walking through the 12 steps, but now I see that they are a ladder to consciousness and clarity, and I'm so thankful for that new addition in my life. So today's day 15, and I'm going to keep going. I hope you have a great day.